Hi, Casey Granston here at The Collective through CCM. I'm here with BB, Melanie, Duane. Crazy thing is we're all Virgos, and actually twin birthdays here. So you're gonna learn all about the Virgos and their insight to crazy situations that happen in the mortgage industry. Save real deals, stories. These kind of, real Hollywood stories.
Uncovered.
Yeah. It's like real world, but basically in mortgage.
Yes.
You know, real Hollywood, real stories of real people, right? So yes. I'm going to start it off because I think this is my favorite save deal of all time. So when I started my career, I worked at Wells Fargo and still have connections over there. So occasionally I'll get their turn down deal that comes across, our table. And so I got this referral sent to me. I was looking through pricing through our different investors, and Wells Fargo randomly enough had the best pricing. So I actually went through their guidelines, looked at everything, and we actually sold the deal to Wells Fargo. So we went through their investor guidelines and sold the deal back to Wells Fargo after they didn't even do their own deal.
So wait, so the person was supposed to be closing with Wells Fargo originally, and Wells Fargo said they couldn't do it.
Correct. Yep.
So you did a Wells Fargo product, closed at Wells Fargo.
Yeah, and the best part about it is because when we talk about why not to use banks and these kind of things, they don't even know how to underwrite to their own guys. Yeah. Right? So
they did it on purpose too, yeah.
100%. 100% did it on purpose. I was like, if I could take this to Wells Fargo, that is an ultimate win.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because the clients were big Wells Fargo people and they wanted to see if, they wanted their loan at Wells Fargo. So it was a win-win.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I have actually kind of, it's not too crazy, but it's a kind of a putting on the cape and saving the day type of story. Had a client, actually one of my agents called me 25th hour. Loan was supposed to be closing in 10 days. The listing agent and the building company were kind of brand new. They thought they could just flip a house and sell it. House was completely not up to code and HUD plates and stuff were missing. She calls me and, hey, can you save this deal? We close in 10 days. I call you. I call Ryan. Hey, what can we do? Because I was brand new. I've been here maybe 2 weeks at the time. We come together with this huge plan. The guy lives in Texas, veteran, getting married the day after they were supposed to close. So there's
no stress.
Zero stress. We had to walk the agent through getting the HUD plate ordered, getting here in time for the reinspection, ended up going out, doing the pavers myself, paving from the ADU unit to the house. Come to find out, the houses were flipped. So the address that he thought he was buying was the other property on. Yeah. So,
oops.
Do you know what I love about this story? Is you started it by saying, not real crazy.
Yeah.
What? If that's not real crazy, I don't know what real crazy is.
We might have to stop there.
Yeah.
So not only are you a loan officer, a DJ, now you're
landscape.
I'm paying. Putting on water straps. Just
HUD plates.
Your normal Thursday, right? So and the guy, and they're on the road. They're driving here, which is a few days. He's calling me every 15 minutes, kind of starting to stress out. And I'm trying to talk him off the bridge. And he's pretty receptive to the way I was speaking to him, so he was cool. But the listing agent was making everything topsy-turvy because she didn't know what she was doing at all. And we ultimately got him here that same day, ended up kind of helping him out with his wedding. It was...
Did you DJ that?
No.
Did you DJ that? Oh, that would have been full service.
Is that why we wore the get up today? Because you DJ'd it and you knew it? Yeah.
No, he's officiating the wedding.
Yeah.
No, but it was one of those things where we saving a deal, making his day, not ruining his moment, because that's marriage is stressful. Yeah. So just, no.
That's video too.
Save the deal and a marriage.
Being married is stressful. We were trying to get him to the first step.
Yeah.
So we got in there, everything worked out, and now I have an agent partner for life just for that and the help from leadership.
And how amazing is that, to help a client like that, where everything's falling apart and then it comes together,
there's the level of fulfillment can't even be put in words. Yeah. That's sure. Outside of the monetary gain, that heart was pulling, we did it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I've got one. It's more about like price competing, right? And clients that shop online lenders. But to your point though, about like the big name banks and whatnot, the overlays that they have for credit score and debt to income and all those things are insane. Like we all, I'm sure, I know we do, my team, get so many turn downs from banks or people that can't qualify for as much as they need in this market. And we turn them around, right? Get them approved for more, close it without a problem for whatever the bank said. So just to kind of give you good job on that one. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But mine is more about online lenders. And when clients think, oh, I want the best deal. I want the best rate. We're so conditioned that we want the lowest price. We want the lowest rate, right? But what consumers don't know is they don't know a lot about the costs, right? And the cost of rates, right? And the market movement and that kind of thing. So my story is short and sweet, but an online lender, not associated with NASA, sent this quote out to one of our clients, right? And it was super crazy low rate. Right? And we're like, oh God, I don't know, right? And in their mind, they thought, oh, there's no cost, right? Or it's low cost, right? I don't know. For that rate, like I need to see this estimate. Send it along. And I'm not kidding you at all. There was $48,000 in points to buy down that rate. I'm not kidding you. I'm sure it's probably still saved on my phone somewhere.
How much was the loan amount?
Oh, I don't remember, but it was nowhere. This was a few years ago. So before conforming loan limit went way up. Let's call it like 500,000.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it was bananas. And I'm sure it's
even is 2057.
Yeah. And there's
29 years on a 30 year.
There's two parts to this though, right? We know about points fees test. That's not going to pass a points fees test.
No.
But the lenders are just trying to get those people in, right? Get them so deep. And once you're under contract, unfortunately, we hear about a lot of bait and switches, right? It's like, oh no, can't do that. So that, or the loan officer there is working in a basement in their boxers, doesn't really know what they're doing, and makes huge erroneous mistakes, which is also then turns into bait and switch,
100%.
right? Yeah. So it's like that conception of pricing online lenders, but not really understanding the cost of rates and how that economics works can be very disastrous.
Yes.
100%.
So that's one, like, I will never forget it. I'm going to find it on my phone and send it to y'all. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, everyone's not built the same, right? If it comes to banks, online, retail, like you're going to get, there's going to be some goods and bads with every company you go through.
Right.
Like, so knowing what you want as a lender, what you're looking for is like super important. Right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's, I think, one of the pieces that separates us from a lot of our competition is that we're not order takers, right? We don't have somebody call us up and say, yes, I'd like 1 30-year mortgage for a VA loan. Right?
You don't get those?
I do, but I don't.
Right, Duane, I would like 1 30-year mortgage to the side of FHA.
Cross Country Mortgage presents Clerks.
Can I supersize that for you? It's always my follow-up question.
Yeah.
So the point, that's great. Thank you. My story is around an agent that I work with had an affiliation with United Wholesale, or not United Wholesale Mortgage. I'm sorry, Veterans United.
Okay.
Right. Veterans United does a great job of marketing to veterans.
Yeah.
They're not associated with VA.
No, not at all. Not at all. But they
Super
want
common
to make
misconception.
it look like that. Just like USAA, same thing.
Yep.
People think, oh, well,
Navy
that's for the
Federal.
military. Right? Yeah, so Veterans United has done a really good job of being robust in their marketing, right? And so they get a lot of veterans that come to them. And so agents partner with them and get a share of that business, right? They get the leads basically. They have to pay back a portion of their commission, so it's not without cost. But the problem is that the Veterans United loan offices are all sitting, maybe boxers in their basement, not sure, but in Missouri. So not local. And do you know what product they know? VA. Do you know what happens when they get a buyer that has 20% down and would have to pay a funding fee if they went with their VA loan even at 20% down? They don't know what to do with that.
Right. That's a very
And
good
so
point.
I had my agent who works with Veterans United and is supposed to keep them there. It's like, look, this doesn't make any sense. So put me in touch with them. And
Not to cut you off, my story, the one I just shared, was from Veterans United.
Yeah, same thing, right? So they're really good if it's a very straightforward order. But if they're not willing to look outside the box and go, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense.
It's just
20% down. Right.
Well, and if they got a VA loan before, that's a 3.3%
Right.
cost right out the gate.
Right, exactly. And so that's the piece that wasn't being explained.
That's a lot of money.
And so once I put side by side, I put together a TCA for them to see side by side that the obvious advantage of going with the conventional loan, it was a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
And so, then I earned that business because I was willing to not just be an order taker.
Yeah.
But
No
look
clerking.
at their situation, right? And figure out the best solution for them.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna so we've gotten longer stories. Let's do a quick hitter here. Like, what's the craziest thing that has happened 3-4 days before closing? Like, everything's buttoned up and you get that panic call from borrower, underwriter, processor. Like, what is it?
I'll go last. I got to go last on this one. I have a crazy one, crazy and sad. So you guys can go first.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any that close to closing that immediately jumped to mind, but I did have a borrower. It was about a week and a half before closing. I found out because they went to do within 10 days verification of employment. They called and she wasn't at that employment anymore. She had changed jobs. And it wasn't even the same field. It was, she went from, I can't remember what it was, but whatever the two were, the one that she had moved to actually has a probationary period. And so it was one of those oops.
Dude, we had one 3 days before closing. They're going to sign. They're docs are out. They're going to go sign it or funding on Monday. This is a Friday. Processor calls me. Hey, I did my last verification appointment. They no longer work there. Call the borrower. I was like, hey, just heard you don't longer work at your job. They're like, yeah, is that a problem?
Yes.
I'm like, well, yeah, you qualify on this house based on your income that you told us that you were going to do, and you signed all these documents that said you're working and we use your income. Oh, shit. Well, so we still sign today and we close Monday? I was like,
Nope.
No, let me go back to work. And then you re-scramble this puzzle back together, and luckily
Who else can be on the
there was
Mom,
paid off
grandma,
this, we added somebody on, did this dent, did this structure, and closed on Tuesday, a day late, but it was nightmare, but anyway.
That's amazing you still closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was lucky.
Yeah.
Some of those
sometimes it doesn't matter how many different times or different ways you tell them not to make changes.
They still do it.
Have you ever had mattress money?
Oh, Grandpa had it locked in a freezer in the garage. Cash.
That is actually.
I have the picture also somewhere on my phone.
If Grandpa has it in the freezer in the garage, that's okay.
I have a picture of the
Annie
whole
says
fridge
check.
filled.
I had a client. It was
and then a lock, right? A master lock on the outside.
Did they give you can you source that large deposit? And he took a picture of the freezer.
Yes. I'm not kidding.
When I worked at a big bank, I had a client.
I'm so going to find that picture too.
Met with me and he wanted numbers. How much down do I have to have this much house? And so I explained. I told him, I'm like, well, and the number it was $150,000. He's like, okay. I'm like, what do you mean? Okay. He's like, well, yeah, no, I've got that. And at this bank, I could see what he had on deposit. I'm like, well, I don't see that. He's like, no, it's at home. I'm like, well, you've got to bring it in. We've got to put it in the bank.
Since
we have to wait 2 months, right? And a week later, he shows up with a backpack and had $150,000 in cash.
Was it Floyd Mayweather?
That he brought in. No. And actually, the crazy thing was he worked at Boeing and they did direct deposit into his account, and he would come in after every paycheck and pull it all out.
I don't trust those banks.
Okay, so we've gone over some crazy save deals. What's the craziest way people have tried to give you money or qualify for? Didn't you have a borrower that we qualified their income on at a sperm donor, and we got to use that income?
Unfortunately,
on their tax returns, that's how much they were doing it.
Was it Crow Mark?
The crazy part, I've still got that.
I think that was a week knowing you.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to use this income. What?
The crazy part was that he made $1,500. I can't remember the number. I've still got that.
I think it was 10 grand.
It's probably stuck to your desk.
No, but it was a lower number. It might have been $3,500. But he traveled the business miles for that business.
Oh, yeah.
Were 1,500 miles. And I was trying to figure out where he was driving to.
He's writing
to
off
donate. He was donating
his sperm money.
Yeah.
You have this. You have an account for your sperm money.
I can show you the. I've still
No, I remember that went around. That went viral.
All names are redacted.
Yeah, there's no name. We don't have the names on that.
I was.
And then
He's still laughing
the
at his
underwriter
joke.
after he put this out, the underwriter then sent it out to the region. Was like, is this a joke? Like, are you guys messing with us? Like, no, we need it for the debt to income ratio.
I remember that one now. Oh my god.
I think they're creating a new product, a sperm only product or something.
Soon.
Part of our non-QM.
Yeah. All right, take us home.
So actually, I got two quick hitters.
Yeah.
And this is something I actually shared on my social media the other day. Clients, day before signing, I get a call from underwriting. Hey, debt to income shot up to 59%. They were already on the cusp of not even qualifying at all.
Yep.
Right there. What do? I looked through the credit report. The Nordstrom card got ran up. The Best Buy card got ran up. They went and got TVs.
New fits for when they, take that picture of the new home.
And
$1,000 car.
they luckily had parents who were okay with giving them some little money, and they paid it off, and we were able to close. But
Oh my god!
again, don't buy anything before closing anything big.
And it doesn't matter if you email it to them.
What if I get 10%
Call
off my Old Navy purchase?
Buy your loan officer something.
If I get 10% off on Old Navy,
Get your keys. That's good.
Buy your loan officer something, and then we'll
Tell me you haven't had that before. Tell me.
No, but my
like once every
Old
3 months.
Navy, Kohl's.
Every 3 months. All right. So this is posted to Reddit from a realtor on like a horror story. So I haven't read this yet, so I'm excited to hear what happens. Showed a guy roughly 100 properties of all sorts and shapes and sizes in pretty much every neighborhood in the county over the course of a year or so. Wrote a few offers on places that weren't accepted for one reason or another. Finally came across a nice looking, reasonably priced single family home. We write the offer, get it accepted. Because we've been looking so long, they needed a new pre-approval. Goes to a large bank, not based out of my city. Now the client makes low six figures, has plenty of cash on hand, decent down payment, and steady employment. After being in underwriting for 60 days on a 45-day close. So they're still in underwriting 50 days afterwards. The lender tells me the client that he has too many open lines of credit. He had 5 cards, 4 worth 0 balances, and 1 corporate card. They told me he needed to close at least 3 cards. Here's the kicker. And then they asked him if he'd like to open a credit card with them. That's awesome. The loan officer was essentially invisible after the first week. I could never get him on the phone, and he wouldn't respond to any emails. Seller was thankfully very patient and motivated. Anyway, we're about 70 days in.
It's gotta be a big name
This
bank.
gets
It's gotta be a
worse.
big name bank.
And I suggested my borrower work with a different local lender, whom I've done several local deals with. So we switched lenders and closed in 20 days. I've essentially boycotted working, with anyone that brings a pre-approval or pre-qualification. I mean, this sounds like almost like every deal that comes our way. Not that long, but
Right.
like that's crazy. I love how they're gonna cancel him for 5 open trade lines.
And 4 with 0
Well,
balance.
4 with 0
Yeah.
balance.
And one was a corporate card.
Yes.
How many of the most trade lines you've ever seen with a borrower? Like, I think I saw someone with like 30 plus credit cards open.
I have
What?
Okay,
Yes.
so
crazy.
this woman, 21 pages. 21 pages. How many are on there?
It's like 6 to 7.
5.
Yeah. 5,
okay.
4, 5.
Or call
6 to
4 or
7.
5.
Yeah,
I don't know. 28 pages. Just accounts, right? All late.
Oh my
right?
God.
So her credit score is like 400 and something.
-4.
The lady makes like 650, right? She's an exec. She makes
650,000?
Yes, 650,000. She's pissed that I can't pre-approve her. And she says, I always pay my bills. And he was like,
Clearly you don't.
but you need to pay them on time.
Right.
You need to pay them on time. 28 pages.
Of late?
Yes, and open debts. Well, some of them had closed because
But the crazy thing is they always know. They
she was pissed. She didn't think she knew. She's like,
they
I
know.
paid them all the time.
Yeah, they know. But
they know.
They
She
don't.
says that
they wanna
she
blame
literally
you.
said,
Yeah. Yeah.
That
They
she-
definitely don't want to take ownership.
No.
Not with 28 pages of late.
$50,000 a year.
I always pay my bills.
Just not on time, ladies. Just not on time.
It's like
True story. True story.
like lies people tell you. That's a whole episode.
If I remember correctly, she worked at the refinery.
I love it. Okay, so here's another one from Reddit. This is from a loan officer, though. 7 years ago, we were pre-approved, a young couple, for a purchase working with the wife. The husband, who had minimal interaction with us, somehow became convinced that we could find a better deal elsewhere for reason unbeknownst to us. That's never happened to you guys, right? Ever better deal?
Not today.
I know about all this because the young couple was referred to us by a close friend of mine, and he kept, me apprised the entire time. This was in 2016 when the market was almost as competitive as it is now. The bidding wars for almost every entry-level property the young couple was interested in. They're also bidding in the markets with unique properties that, fostered both financing and appraisal issues. Long story short, no listing agent would accept their offer with a Costco pre-qual letter. I think Costco has a mortgage company.
They did. They don't anymore. They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Kirkland's signature does everything.
That was a front for somebody.
Oh,
I can't remember who it was. I do remember.
I do remember it too. I don't remember.
Love that.
You get a slice of pizza and a hot dog at every closing.
Yeah, probably. Again, I have nothing against Costco,
Like
but hey, on the if they're a mortgage banker, I have nothing against Costco, but they had no reputation in the purchase market, and listing agents were unwilling to risk having to deal with their financing issues in a hyper-competitive market. So it took the young couple almost a year before they finally got their offer accepted, even though they were making competitive offers. If they had a pre-approval letter from a reputable lender like us, who this guy is, JVM, they would likely have accepted numerous offers. They ended up paying 8% more for the home, and in a submarket where the biddings were over 12 months in the making. So in their effort to save money on a mortgage, not only did they delay their home owning dreams by a year, but it also cost them $60,000 in terms of higher price mortgage. Even scarier, the rate Costco ended up giving them was the same rate we would have given them. I have seen similar stories play out in time again over the years, and I share this one as another reminder to home buyers chasing deals in a mortgage realm. Buyer beware.
Amen.
Yikes.
I mean, that's...
Amen. I think we've all run into that.
Yeah.
Right? We've all seen it or heard about it.
Well, I mean, you get shopped all the time.
Yeah.
Like online or banks or these kind of things. And well, I will say for, a company like Rocket or a Wells Fargo, they do a great job to commoditize us, right? That it's the same. It's, everywhere you go, you're going to get the same. It's just not. This experience, what you do and how you're educated and what you do in the whole experience is totally different from every place, right?
Yeah.
You might get a better rate. You might not. You might get better service. You might not. You might go 75 days or a year without winning. I remember in 20 and 21, the agents I worked with would not take a letter from a credit union or bank.
Right.
And you had to wait for 12 days, 13 days. And you'd go to these banks and they'd be with, one I remember was BECU, and they'd go to BC and they're like, hey, we need a 15-day close. And they're like, we can give you a 45-day close. Does that help? And they're like, no, I need a 15-day. And then I would get all these deals coming from BECU or Wells Fargo because they won't write that quick.
Right.
So the other thing that happens is you're working with a client and then somebody, a friend, right? A neighbor, an aunt and uncle says, hey, you should use my lender, right? Or you should use so-and-so, right? So they try to switch, right? The listing agent and the seller have to agree to that switch,
Yeah.
right? And so I've seen in my office or, heard about other coworkers that the listing agent didn't allow that to happen. So the people had to basically lose out on the house, right?
Yep.
Like you can't just willy-nilly
Or you
play
waive,
that game.
or you
No.
waive your earnest money.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
buy this
yeah,
with
or
you
you
immediately
waive-
waive your earnest
Yeah.
money. And so
Yeah.
now if anything happens, that money's gone.
It's a risk. It's a huge risk.
I had one, it was like my main realtor. They ended up switching out from us. They missed closing by a day, and it was in 2020 or 21. I can't remember, but the market was insane. Like 20, 30 offers, 200,000 over asking, missed it by one day. They said, nope,
Yeah.
we're going to take your earnest money and we're going to put it back on the market. And they lost their earnest money.
Ooh.
Well, and they
That was like
probably
$50,000.
ended the next day
Yeah.
with somebody else, probably for even more.
Yeah.
Right?
And they took the $50,000
Yeah.
earnest money.
It
Like,
happens.
how does that feel?
Shoot.
I mean, that's like a once, like, we're talking horror stories here. And like, this is happen all the time. And most people,
I don't know. During that time, it happened though.
yeah. I mean, but most people
I mean-
are, like when you go to a buyer or seller, most people are like, okay, I'll give you a day. But I mean, again, you never know.
Nope.
You never know if someone's going to quit their job. You need,
Right.
sperm income or, get freezer money, right? Get married by this guy, have him DJ your wedding and close your loan. Like, you never know in this industry.
And landscape the front yard.
And yeah,
I get some papers
all at once.
Papers anyway.
Yeah.
Will you be my loan officer?
I will. I will. Certainly.
Hey, thank you guys. That was awesome hearing your guys' stories. Like, this industry every day seems like it's a new day, new adventure. So, and for everybody out there, if you like what you hear, definitely subscribe to what we're doing. We're, kind of creating some more content around this, but really what we'd like to hear is your horror stories. Definitely drop them in the comments, send us. We want to hear everything crazy going on in the boards industry.